Hey, so it's Saturday, which means another vlog from GBR Life. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about something that is plaguing a lot of parents, really in particular, but I did say moms, and I got a little company with me, and she's looking at all the cords and the lights and everything, because when I do this, it's actually a really simple setup, but she is very interested in the big lights and everything, but there's a lot of cords, including my microphone. And I use, this one's like $10, but I have a nicer microphone, but then I have to set it up. But I've said that in other videos, like, this is GBR life, good, bad, real life. And I don't have the time to make everything perfectly set up, especially when you got little ones and they're, you know, into everything. But anyways, let me see if she'll take her bottle while I'm doing this. So I wanted to talk about the subject of how to be a happy mom. Now, there's also how to be a happy parent. Possibility of like looking at it that way. But in this case, I did say mom, and there might be a couple little things that apply to moms in particular. But as a dad, if you're watching this, please know you can do these things as well, especially if you're with your kids a lot more often now that COVID is going on. And, you know, a lot more staying at home, or less time outdoors with, you may not be able to have your kid in daycare all day because they may not be open all day, since they have to have like cleaning things and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those days, even though it's a good day. I'm a happy mom right now, and I'm actually a happy mom because of one of the things that's not on any of the lists, and I do have the papers. I'm big on paper, and just doing things that way, old school, pen and paper. But I have it there because I got it from, and I should say that first, I got my information from Happy You Family, no, I said that wrong. Happy You Happy Family.com and OneCrazyMom.com. I did look other places, but I liked their stuff the best, and that's what I'm gonna talk about. And then of course put in my own stuff, which is, as a mom, once I had my son, who's now 2 years old, and this one's about to be 6 months, I could have easily fallen into that trap of, I'm not going to do things for myself anymore, I'm going to do things only for my kids, which includes this right here. No, not for me. And I hope not for a lot of you parents out there. Because if you start giving up on the things that make you the happiest, that's where you're going to start suffering, because now you're doing everything for your kids. But my mom always said, the kids grow up, and when your kid starts going into school, because you may have two little ones like I do, then what are you going to do with your time? That doesn't mean that there's not plenty to do. But if all you're doing with your life is laundry, cleaning the house, cooking food, making sure your kids have eaten, that they have their lunches packed, that they have the clothing that they need, that you have made the next list, and I'm talking about a lot of parents out there. I don't want to specify stay-at-home moms, because there are stay-at-home dads and there are working from home moms, 9 to 5, got a job. These things all need to happen, and a lot of times, like moms and dads who do a lot of it, you get underappreciated because you just keep it going, you make sure it goes, and people ask you the question, well, what do you do with all your time? So when the kids go to school, like, well, you have all this time on your hands, and that's not what I meant. What I meant is, if that's all you're doing, it's so easy to get into depression. In other words, you're doing a lot, but you're doing a lot for others. You're not doing a lot for you, and you matter. So you need to do things for you too. What makes you happy? And if you can't answer that question, then before I even get into any of this, you need to figure that out. You need to have a conversation with your significant other, and shoot, it could even be with your kids, to say, hey, mom or dad is going to go into the other room, and I'm gonna do this for a little while, and you're going to stay over here and you're gonna watch this movie for 5 minutes or for 30 minutes because mom or dad needs this. I hope you hear me, because it's really important. It's so good for mental health and talking to people and things like that. But find you again. Now, going into the list, these are the things that I found that I really liked, and it did come from those websites that I mentioned. I try to do research before just telling you guys anything, unless I have personal experiences that I want to tell you. Okay, so being a happy mom is not easy and dad. It's not easy because you have so much going against you. I mean, your kids have tantrums. They need a lot of attention. They don't understand what's going on whatsoever. A lot of times they think that they know what needs to be done, said, so forth, because they think they're adults already. Especially you preteens out there, you still don't know a lot about the world, but you think you do. And then you turn into an adult and you are happily surprised, not happily. It's actually not what you thought. You know, because there's that misconception of like, oh, the adults get to do whatever they want. It's like, no, I don't. I have a boss I have to answer to, or I have, you have your schedule and I have to make sure you do the things that you need to do in order to have a future, which means I don't get to do things that I want to do. There's a lot of sacrifice. You don't sleep. You know, you got bills. It's not glamorous, but you know, teens and preteens, even 7-year-olds think that it is. So here's for you parents, some of the things. First one, I'm not the biggest fan of doing personally, but a lot of people are, and that's writing down your blessings. I get it. Write down what you're thankful for, because sometimes it's easy to be stuck in the negative and not paying attention to what is, needing to be paid attention to. Like, I have my little girl right here. I know she's going to have a little moment. She's getting a little tired, and I could focus right now on the negative of this moment, but I can also write down later on, if it turns into something big, about the blessing of that moment or of my day, not just focus on this single moment that may or may not go well. Another thing is keep your bedroom kid-free. Now, I love this one. And I was like, oh my God, I have to touch on this, because this isn't about like your kids can't go into your room or a certain room ever, and it just has to be this kid-free zone thing. This is more about, you don't keep the piles of laundry, your kids' toys, your kids' clothes, all this stuff that your kids' stuff gets in, and other people's things, and even the family stuff ends up in every single room, in all capacities, unless you've completely cleaned up everything. And even then, stuff gets left behind, and you're like, oh, I get to that. Have a kid-free area. Take away those toys in that room. Take away those types of things, because you need space for it to be about you. And if you go into that room and what you do and you like to do is knit, then knit without looking at that pile of laundry that still needs to get done, and those toys that still haven't been put away. Okay, another one, and I have to look over here because that's where I put the paper, because this one is like, I'm gonna grab everything, so I have to keep it away from her. Okay, find something that you enjoy and take time to do it. It was on the list, yay! That's what I was talking about in the very beginning. Do it. Find something you enjoy, and you need to make that a priority. Honestly, all parents, make it a priority. It's just as important as feeding your kids, because that's your mental health there. Let's see, number 4. Yeah, stop trying to be super mom or super dad. So it's very easy, and I do this myself. I've talked about myself in the past, but I'm going to say it point blank. I have my 9-to-5 job. I have a cat. I have my business of GBR Life LLC, which means website, this vlog, my podcast, GBR Life of Crimes. Might as well let you all know what's going on here. And I also have to take care of all of those things, maintain it, in addition to actually making sure that something comes out every day or every Saturday in podcasts and so forth. And then I have my kids, and then I have my husband. Because I am married, that means that relationship needs nurturing as well. You can't just leave any relationship just to dwindle. So those are a lot of things going on all at once. I mean, honestly, how does anyone get through half of the things that I even mentioned? Well, I kind of combined some stuff because I love my company. So when I'm on my own, of course I want to work on GBR Life. I love GBR Life. I love talking to you. I love writing blogs. I love doing my podcast. It makes me happy. So I'm technically doing two things at the same time. But in that same end, I do have all these other responsibilities, and so what I end up doing is I try to run around and get everything done and make it perfect and make sure the kids are fed and asleep and I've gotten my 9 to 5 job done, and they're not thinking I'm not working and putting in enough effort and stuff because the COVID's going on and we're working from home and all these things. And it's very difficult, especially they're finding a lot of women, people of color, stuff like that statistically. So it's Spanish and and a woman. So of course I'm like, no, I'm worth it. Don't get rid of me. So yeah, it's hard not to just try to do it all. But then I get burnt out and I'm just unhappy. And you know what? It's not worth it because it doesn't all have to be done right then and there. There's been days that I haven't really gotten much done, and my 2-year-old has gone and put like a toy away because he knows that that's what's normally being done. Or people surprise you and they start helping, and in addition to that, like you're gonna realize that you don't need every little perfect thing in perfect place. And I keep saying the word perfect because that's what I'm like, so I know what that feels like. It's like it has to be done. It has to be done perfectly. It doesn't have to be done perfectly. But I struggle with it daily. That's why I did like a lot of personalization in that one, but I struggle with it daily. So I get it out there, you moms and dads, but try really hard to just say to yourself, I got 10 minutes, I can sleep. I'm gonna sleep, I'm not gonna get up, and I'm not gonna go and rush to get something done because the kids aren't awake. No, take a moment, sleep. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Next one, let it go. I think I've kind of gone into that one as well, but that's more of like if something isn't going right and your day's just kind of going, just let it go. Let go of all these things because will it matter in 10 years that your kid had that tantrum that day? Honestly. It won't. Keep going as you can, but let go of these small things. If you forgot to text, and this is a big one for me, I forget to text people back, call people, nurture other relationships outside of my home. And you know why? Because I'm busy, because I forgot, because I'm doing all these things, and you may have texted me 4 days ago, and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to text them back. It's been 4 days. And then I'll say something, or guess what? I forgot again. I can't do it all, but I try to get back to people, but that's one of my biggest things. But I try to forgive myself about that all the time. And if people around me don't understand that and they don't accept that, that's okay. I don't expect them to. I don't want to treat anybody poorly, but at the same time, I understand also if we can't be in each other's lives as much at that time, in this time frame, because I'm extremely busy, I'm doing the best I can, and I really just can't nurture the relationship with you at the moment and also make sure that my kids are being fed. And I gotta make sure they're being fed. Okay, so let's go into how to do some of these things. Number one is you label your feeling in the moment that it's happening. You do need to know what's going on. If you're burnt out, if you're tired, if you're sad, label it, figure out what's going on. It's okay to admit, hey, like I'm really upset right now. Then do some breathing exercises. They're really good. It gets you calm down in the moment, and I fully agree with them. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, breathing exercises, they're good. Then remind yourself that it's not you in this situation. Like, you have to remember that someone said this relationship-wise, for two people to try and learn how to tackle the problem, not tackle each other, or something like that. And that's the same thing about all relationships and all things in life. She's doing her bubbles. You want to tackle the problem, not tackle the other person or the child and things like that. Because if you do that, you're not fixing the problem. And you can actually go about it where you're making it worse in that sense too, because now you're causing negative feelings and issues, and have definitely been guilty of that one. Another thing, if you're feeling really bad and it's just a bad day, give someone a hug, get a hug it out. Hugging is so important. My husband reminds me of this all the time because I'm very cold-hearted. That's what I've been told my whole life. I'm not cold-hearted, but what it is that I'm not very physically loving. I try to be a lot more loving towards my kids so that they don't feel like abandonment or anything like that. But it just doesn't come naturally to me. But when I'm feeling really bad, it's actually really important for me to just give a hug, get a hug, and feel that physical connection, just as much as it is for somebody who's very touchy-feely. Okay, so shake it up. Your day doesn't work for you in the way that that it's going. Try and change it up. Do something different. Make it less of what it has to be, because you don't have to be super parent, and try and make it work for you. All right, what else? Let's see. Hack your sleep. Yeah, see, this one I kind of touched on too. If you can have that opportunity to take 5 minutes to take a nap, or 30 minutes or whatever, take the nap. Take the time. Yes, there's things that need to get done. Yes, another person can look at you like, oh, you're taking a nap and I don't have time to take a nap. Well, you need the nap, take the nap and stop feeling bad about it because you need the nap. The other person may not need the nap, but you do. So take it. It's not about a competition. It's not about anything other than doing what you physically need. Take the nap. It's really all it's about. And the last one is another one that I would like to start doing myself, and I have not done this, which is, it's called Challenge Yourself to 5 Good Acts. So, negative act, your child had a temper tantrum. Well, put 5 good acts in there, right after that. So 5 good acts for every 1 negative hack. So act, not hack. So your child had a tantrum. So after that, go tell your husband a joke or wife. Go give somebody a hug. Smile. You know, things like that. Do something that is actively positive. 5, if 1 bad thing happened. And that should get you back into a better place at that moment. Okay, and then I wanted to add in here 2 things that one of these websites, I can't say who did what. I'm so sorry to the YouTube websites. I did not say, I didn't write it on my stuff as to who did what, but I did say that it came from you. But anyway, so these 2 things not to do. And I am so going back to myself, because I think that's always important to point the finger at yourself first before you start pointing it at others. Try not to simply deny that you're feeling frustrated or annoyed. So don't deny your own feelings. And then the second thing is venting. I'm a big venter. Like, I need to vent sometimes just to get some stuff off my shoulders. But I can't live in that world. If you vent, but then don't keep venting. Like, you can't just keep talking about the same thing over and over again. Because what you're doing is you're living in the problem. So don't live in the problem. Vent it, say it. If you feel like the person you're talking to isn't really listening, maybe they're unable to listen in that moment. Maybe you have other things you need to work on with that relationship with that person. But then go to the person that is going to listen to you. Vent it out if you need to, if that's something you do. But then let it go, because that was another one. So those are the different things to help all of us be happy parents and get through this time, along with the future as well, because I think it can apply to everyone at all ages, at all time frames. This was my little buddy the entire time. I want you all to see this cute little face. This is one of my favorite little faces. My boy is with his grandparents at the moment. He loves them, and I love their relationship, so I'm super happy that he's with them right now. It gives me also an opportunity to do this without hearing in the background, which I love and I miss greatly right now. But anyways, so I'm super glad that you listened to this really, really long video. I hope this helps you out a whole ton. But if you want more like this, remember I do this every single Saturday. It is just part of this, a vlog part, but it is, I'm having a moment. But it is also part of the blogs and stuff that I do as well. So you can go to gbrlife.com as well to read any of the blogs that I write, because I write about these types of things all the time. I have a section called Life and Wellness. I have a section called Motherhood and Parenting, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff in there. But I also have sections about work because I have a job, a regular corporate America job, so I try to give real life anything in there and like talk about it and everything, in addition to what I call Funland, so just kind of talking about anything. So that's my blog, and then you see what my blog is. But I also have a parenting hack series and then my podcast. But my podcast is a little different. It's more about women crimes and the psychology behind them. It's called GBR Life of Crimes, which I mentioned earlier. So if you would like any of this, please know that I'm kind of available everywhere. I'm on most social media, so go find me there too. I try to do daily quotes as well, so I try to be as entertaining as humanly possible. And I love feedback as well. If you hate something I'm doing, like talking too much and not ending a video when I should, yeah. Or something else, like that's anything at all, good or bad. I'd love to hear from you guys. Just, like, comment, follow, do what you gotta do. I'll put some links and stuff below. Until next Saturday, bye.